Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Toni and I'm a homeschooling mom to 4 kids. And we are talking today about our morning basket. And guess what? A morning basket doesn't have to be a basket. I've got a morning bookshelf. I also have a little morning basket. I'm gonna explain to you guys what I have in this bookshelf and in this basket, how I use it, and how it works for our family. So if you guys wanna find out how our morning basket works, then stay tuned. Okay, so we're gonna talk about our morning basket. Now, if you are curious what a morning basket even is, and you're like, what are you talking about? There's different ways people use a morning basket, or how they set it up. And like I said, sometimes it's not a basket, but what it is basically family time. So maybe family subjects, some sort of time where you bring your family together and you study certain things together. So it might be Bible, it might be scripture memory, it might be geography, some do history, some do read alouds, some do, I don't know. There's all kinds of subjects that you can put into your morning basket. I think a lot of people do their morning basket time on a couch in some cozy way. So I think that's where the basket idea came out. Don't quote me because I don't actually know the origins of this, but I do know that it's kind of a cozy family time of learning together. So we're doing a whole lot of that this year. I just did a homeschool room tour last week. I'll link that above. And it was a playlist with a bunch of moms seeing how everybody set up their homeschool and how it's all different. And I love that. Well, this video is another collaboration, and this is hosted by Leilani from Living with Eve. And she is really great and has so many really great ideas. She does a lot of helps with special needs homeschooling. She has a really sweet, good little daughter that has Down syndrome, and she also has 3 other kids. So she homeschools 4 kids, used to be a teacher. She's great. I love watching her videos, and she's hilarious and just so fun. So make sure you check out her channel if you have not, and check out the playlist so you can see what all these other moms do for their morning baskets, because I guarantee some will be baskets, some might not be baskets, and none of the baskets are gonna look the same, and what's inside is not gonna look the same. So I love seeing these collaborations where a bunch of different moms can share what they do. So you're not gonna wanna mimic exactly what I do, but you might take pieces of it and be like, well, that's a good idea. Or you might say, that's a terrible idea. You take what works for you. And I think that's just why we do this, to try to help share what works for our family and then kind of give you a broad variety of things to pick from for ideas of encouragement, how to do your homeschool. So let's get into explaining my morning basket and how we're doing it this year. Okay, so I have had a morning basket before, and usually it has been, we've done Bible, we've done history, we usually have science, we have some games that we do in the morning. Those are some things that we've done in the past. This year, I am actually doing, if you missed the video where I talked about what I'm doing for my kids for their individual subjects, I will link those in the description box below so that you can check that out. But I am splitting my kids up into 2 separate groups. So I'm doing my 6th and my 8th graders together, and I am teaching my 1st and my 4th grader together with different things. So some of the stuff like history and science that we would have done as a family before, we're actually doing now separately, in like a group here and a group here. Some of this stuff are things that I'm just doing with 2 of my kids. Some of this stuff are things that I'm doing with everybody together. So it's kind of a mix match. I always mix that up. Mismatch? I don't know. It's kind of a mixture of things that I'm doing for all my kids. So I'm just gonna show you guys, I have had this little bookshelf here forever, probably since my oldest was little, teeny tiny. I thought it was cool how it shows the books, because when they're in the bookshelf and all you can see is the spine, a lot of times they don't pull it out, especially when they're not reading yet, if they can't see the cover. So I love this, and this was just like a fun garage sale find from a million years ago, 10 years ago probably. And it's been in our basement, not being used. It's been in different parts of the house. And I finally realized, because we are using 5 in a row this year, and I have all these books that I want to keep together so I'm not searching for them, I was like, I need this in the schoolroom. So I've got this over here. Our school space that we work is right there, and I've got my teacher's desk right there. So this is kind of nice and central. So let's look into what I have. Okay, so we are doing 5 in a row, like I mentioned. We're just gonna start at the bottom and work our way up. So I have already gathered all the books that I have for 5 in a row for this year that, like I said, is history, science. It covers some math. We still do separate math. We do separate language. We do separate reading, but there's activities that go along with history, science, math, language, poetry, geography, all kinds of stuff, social studies. It's so great. I love it. So I have all the books that we're doing this year. So I've got like Katie and the Big Snow, the story about Ping. I actually have 2 copies of. Love this book, and I don't know why I have 2 copies. Probably because I was excited when I bought them both. All these were thrift store finds, except for a couple that I actually ordered on Thrift Books because I couldn't find them at the thrift store. Lentil, one of our favorite books. So these are all books we're going to be doing with 5 in a row this year. We've got the Rag Coat, Mike Mulligan and the Steam Shovel we're doing next week. These Make Way for Ducklings I think is before 5 in a row, but I threw it in here just in case we need an extra book that and we finish ours. I might, like if I finish all these and I need an extra one to do, I might do this. I've got caps for sale. So that's all in the first shelf. I also have little passports because we're studying geography this year. They each have a little passport. It's just one of those cheap little blank passports. And we'll be putting something in here with everything that we study every time we go to a new country, for a new state or whatever. Every new geographical place that we visit in our books, we're gonna put a stamp or we're gonna do something. I actually haven't figured out what I'm doing in here yet. I'll let you guys know once I figure that out. But I have each of those. I don't want to forget about those, so I've got those in the front here just so I can see them since they're tiny. The second shelf here, I do have the 5 in a row discs. These are laminated discs that are pictures of the different, something that has to do with the story. So like this week we're doing Madeline, so we're going to put this on the map. We actually cut it out and we attach it to a map, and I'm going to be putting the map up there right behind this. The other books I've got How to Make an Apple Pie and See the World. All these are ones that we're doing for 5 in a row. So Storm in the Night, Another Celebrated Dancing Bear, The Glorious Flight. We have so many sweet memories from this curriculum, so I'm so excited. Katie No Pocket, I think that might also be before 5 in a row, so I threw it in here because I had it. Make Way for Ducklings also might be The Little House, and then Grandfather's Journey. So a couple of those I got on Thrift Books, but all the rest, every time I've seen a title that I know is a 5 in a row thing over the years, I've grabbed them to keep on my shelf because I love them. So I love having them separate and having them here and not having to search for them throughout the year. So that's what I did. Madeline, I'm shocked, but I did not have a copy of Madeline. This is the one we're doing for the first week of school. We just did it last week and it was so sweet, but I had to get this from the library because I didn't own Madeline. I have like a couple of the other Madeline books, but I didn't have the original Madeline, which was crazy. Loved our week in Madeline. It was so fun. So these 2 shelves are ones we're going to be doing all year. The second to top shelf, the third shelf, is where we're going to keep the stuff that we're using for the week, just because it worked out that way. That's where I'm putting it. So I've got the book we read. So that is all the 5 in a row stuff. Then I have a read aloud. And so the read aloud we're doing this week is Gladys Aylward, or this first 2-3 weeks of school. So I'm keeping that here because I won't forget about it. Honestly, when I haven't had our read aloud, I love read alouds, but I'm not great at it. And if I have it on a bookshelf or I have it somewhere else, I easily forget to do it. So if it's right here where I'm going to be seeing it every day, I have not missed a day after the first week of school. Yay! Can you guys give me a high five? So I've done it every single day, so I'm so excited, and it's been so good. So that is my goal this year. Like, that is, I think I've got 2 goals for the year. I haven't written them down yet, but I would say to keep it fun, to not stress our homeschool, and just keep it fun and like just super fun, wonderful, treasured learning, and to do better with read alouds and be consistent with read alouds. So those 2 things go there. Another book that we're doing, this is for the whole family that we're studying for geography. And this is called Window on the World. And this is really cool because you learn about a country. This week we are studying about China. And because I'm trying to tie in our read aloud, I want to do a missionary read aloud along with our geography stuff and try to like really tie everything in together. So we read about China. We read about like the population. We read about the food, how many people are, not just the population, but the population versus the square miles of the entire place and how packed in they are. It just has a lot of cool facts about it. All kinds of things in here. It's got pictures and shows where it is on the map. It's got ways that you can pray for China. So this is a really cool book. And so we've done that. 1 day a week we do that. We do Window on the World on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we do Hungry Planet, which also ties in with the geography. So on this one, we're studying China, and it just, it has like a family here and all the food, they pull all their food out for a week that they have. So cool. My kids were so excited to see like KFC, and we went through and we looked at this to see, okay, what do we recognize? What do we not recognize? They had pig elbow and pig feet, which we were all kind of grossed out about, but some of the stuff we were familiar with. So anyway, we got to read, they break down like how much they spend in a week on certain things. And then it talks about the family. And we, because of time and me trying to squeeze all this stuff in, we didn't read all of this. I kind of read what was important, but it had some interesting stuff. And then it's got some cool pictures. So all this stuff about China. Yeah, pretty much there. And then it shows how they get their groceries, even up to their apartment. And we talked about apartments and how they live. Very tight. So that is a really cool book. So we do that on Wednesday. So Tuesday, Wednesday. So the subject that we're doing for our morning basket on Mondays is music. That is called Living Harmonies. And the teacher's guide is actually on my laptop. So I pull that up and it's got links that you can use to play different songs that we're talking about and music and things like that. So I actually just kept that. I'm keeping the teacher's guide on the laptop and not printing that out. So that's why I don't have that in here. The kids all have student workbooks, but they keep those in their work boxes. So I don't have music in the morning basket, but I've got it on my planner. So we just pull it out when we need to do that. So that's why the Monday thing is not in here. So Thursday, we are doing health on Thursdays. I have two different boxes right here. So this, if I pull this out, this has our health curriculum. So we are doing Trim Healthy You, and we are also doing Biblical Worldview on Mental Health for Children. So I keep both of these in this drawer. These I'm alternating. I think what I'm gonna do is this one week and then this one week. So that's my plan. I've got my other Trim Healthy Mama stuff. We've got exercise cards. We've got recipe cards in here, list of protein, and there's like a coloring page. So anything that I have for our health just stays in this little box. And so anything I need for health, I keep in this box, and then I just slide it back in when I'm done. So that is what we do on Thursday. And then Friday we do art, which also the kids have a workbook in their work box, so that I don't keep in here. So this box here has all kinds of random stuff that we do randomly throughout the week. So I've got our geography cards in here. These are geography cards from The Good and the Beautiful that we've used many years. We used the state cards last year, and this year we're going to be doing the country cards. So that's like that's what a state card looks like, and then it's got it on the back. We're doing the country cards this year. So I will show this to the kids and they have to tell me that it is Switzerland. So that is what we're working on this year. The first week of school it's an adjustment. It's always hard kind of getting things started. So at the moment, we're just gonna be doing those once a week and we'll just see how that goes. This is some random, I've got games in here. We love to do games in our homeschool. I got this cool timeline game at the thrift store recently, and it's got all these different timeline cards that you have to put in order. So that's something that we will do randomly. We used this last year. I want to keep using this. It's just a good way to get familiar. They're the Professor Noggin's art cards. And then I found this one at a thrift store, and this is Earth. It's an earth science card game, and it just looked really cool. So that's another one that we'll be using just here and there. Then in the bottom here for geography, I have this book that I've had forever, and it is The 7 Continents of the World, and it's a jigsaw puzzle book. So I will pull this out sometimes when we're studying different countries, and maybe while I'm reading to the kids, they can pop this out, and then can you see that it's a puzzle? And then they'll just put it together, but it's got all kinds of stuff to learn. There's North America, South America, so it's just a cool little map book, and it's been on our shelf for a long time. I think the kids used it a couple times here and there, but not a whole lot. So the last thing I have in this little drawer is this hymn study book, and this is the Then Sings My Soul, and I actually have 2 copies. I really wanted to do this. I didn't realize I had bought 2 copies. So it'll actually work out good, because when I am like teaching the kids out of it, they don't have to like hover over my shoulder. They get their own copy because Mom accidentally bought 2. But it's neat. There's All Hail the Power of Jesus' Name. So it's got the like story behind why the hymn was written, or something about the background of the story. It's got the hymn written right here, and I will probably just pull it up on YouTube because I don't play the piano. And then we'll try to do this. So I'd like to do like 1 hymn a week. I don't know, we might do 1 hymn every 2 weeks. I don't want to stress ourselves to try to get through this book. I just wanted to have more hymns and like learn more about the hymns and really appreciate what the story is behind them and why they were written and why they should be treasured. So this is in here. This is not something we do every day. At the moment, we're in the first week. We just finished the first week of school. So I'm not really sure how often I'm going to be able to fit this in without making our day go, super long. But I would like to do this maybe a couple times a week. Maybe we'll eventually get to the point where we can do it every day. I don't know. But that's what we keep in there. The top shelf here, I have, first of all, this super cool book. I showed you guys this in my Rainbow Resource Haul. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I will link that also. This is a book. No idea the names. I will not be able to read that, but this is a big, giant maps book, and it is so cool. We've already used it for 5 in a row when we were talking about trying to find France on the map. So it's so fun. It's cool, like distressed. It looks like it's folded, but it's actually smooth. It's really neat. It's pretty, like really cool paper, but it's got all the maps that you'd need. And then when you get into learning certain places, like we did France this week, so I'll show you what this one looks like. But it was really cool. We were able to have this out while we were looking for, we found Paris. So we found Paris, and then we were talking about this river, the Seine, how do you say it? Seine? The Seine River. And and it had that on here, that detail. So they were able to find it on here, and then you can look at the different things. We were talking about architecture, and they had these different architectural buildings we studied about, and so they were able to find it in here and find it in some of the other books that we did. Really cool book. I am loving this, and you guys know I'm a thrifty mom, and I don't buy stuff that I don't need unless it's from the thrift store. Well, I bought this full price because it was so cool, and I'm so glad I did. This even has here we have Japan sumo wrestlers at the top. So anyway, super cool book. I'm loving this, but this is something that I have used for our 5 in a row study, but I've also used it with my big girls when we were doing history or we were talking about geography. We pulled this out and I had them look on here. They had to fill in their map books with Biblioplan for history, and we pulled this out so that they could find some things on here. So I love this. I love it, love it, love it. So I don't have a whole lot of wall space because I have bookshelves over here. I have a window over here, which both are great. And I've got a chalkboard. So I'm very limited on wall space. So that is why I was like, this would be good in case I don't hang up a map, because I don't really have a whole lot of space for a map. The other thing in this top shelf, I have these missionary books, because we're doing a lot of missionary study this year. These are kind of like those I don't know, they reminded me of those YWAM books. They're like pamphlets instead. So like here, there's Oswald Chambers, okay? And it's got just packed with information. All this information about him and his life. It's a very skinny little notebook, but it talks about his ministry, his life, all the stuff. See how skinny it is? So anyway, those are really cool that we're just gonna tie in and use. We might use those as read alouds. I'm not really sure exactly, because I also have these. I've got one of these like young readers from YWAM for George Mueller. I thought I had another one too. And then I've got these 3 and the Gladys Aylward. So these different books that we will be reading to study about missionaries this year, I just have them kept up here. Sometimes when I put stuff in my bookshelf, either the kids will get them and they'll get like mixed up, or I have trouble finding them and remembering where I put them. So I love that everything that we're going to be using this year is right here. See this box right here? This is part of our morning basket. It doesn't really fit well in there. It doesn't, if it goes in the basket, it kind of gets stuck in there and it doesn't really fit in the bookshelf. And if I put it over with my other stuff, I was afraid I was going to forget about it. This is our verse cards. I've got it in my planner, so I remember to do it. So this is technically part of our morning basket time. I'm just keeping this on my desk so I see it every day. And so I don't use it, but it's not technically in the basket. Okay, and right next to the bookshelf, I've got the bookshelf right here, and right next to it I have this super cute basket that I got, I don't know, at a thrift store, and I love it, and it's so cute, and I've used it for different things. We've had Legos in it, we've had books in it, but I thought this would be perfect for the library books that I pick out to go along with 5 in a row. So like I told you, we're studying Madeline this week, so I've got all these books that I got for Paris that we were looking at, Pop-Up Paris, that we're looking at for different things we were studying when we were going to do architecture. I've got different stories that I just ordered from the library are other library books. There's Renaissance Paris. I've got some fun picture books, Olivia in Paris. This one is so pretty. We haven't read this one yet. I would like them to read this. Isn't that pretty with like the gold foil on it? Some of these are just stories about Paris, and some of them have actual like places in Paris. But I'll be doing that each week, and I feel like if I order stuff like this for the kids as just like supplemental reading and it gets put in with the library books that I keep in the living room, I don't think they're gonna pull them out, or I will forget that I got them, and then we're done with the week and I'm like, oh, I forgot I got all those books on Paris or whatever. So I thought it would be nice if I kept them in here, and then it's a visual thing where it's like, okay, we've got 5 in a row, our 5 in a row stuff right here, and then here, go pick a book from there. And I actually used them this week because I remembered that they were there. So just remember, the morning basket does not have to be anything fancy. You don't have to go to Pier 1. I don't even know if that's still a store. But you don't have to go somewhere fancy and buy like a super fancy basket to be in the cool club. You can use whatever you have. It can be a bookshelf. It could be a tote if you want. I mean, you can just use a shelf. But it's just the idea of keeping all those books and resources and things together so that you remember to use them. Because I will tell you, I struggled last year with health. I did not keep our health curriculum in our morning basket. We had a different basket last year and I kept it, I don't know if it got shoved to the back or what, but I forgot we had health. Don't tell our school district. I forgot we had health to do, and we'd done like a few lessons of it and then we didn't do it. So we're doing it again this year, but guess what? It's right here and I'm not gonna forget about it. It's easy to forget about certain subjects or resources and things like that, like this map book. If I go throw this on the shelf up there with the rest of our resource books, it's not gonna get used. I'm gonna forget that it's there. So I really think that this is awesome to be able to keep the stuff together, that I can make sure that I'm actually using it. Don't buy stuff if you're not gonna use it, I'm telling myself. So I'm loving our setup this year. I guarantee nobody else that's in this collab is gonna have the exact same setup as me. And that's why I love these collaborations. So I'm so excited to watch the playlist with you guys. So you guys go watch the playlist too. Now that you're done here, if you liked my video, please give me a thumbs up. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not yet subscribed, because we're just starting our school year. I have so much to share. I am loving what we're doing. We're only 1 week in, but it was good. I've had other first weeks of school where it was not good and it was stressful. This was fun. It was so fun. Oh my word. I'm loving what we're doing. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.